If I could wave a magic wand and fix your blood sugars for your diabetes, this is where the magic wand would start. Okay, in today's lesson, I'm actually going to break down a 3-step method, the exact same method that I have used to keep my blood sugars in range for over 94% of the time over the last 5 years consistently. In fact, I've maintained above a 90% time in range report while living life, building a family, my wife and my daughter, while training for an Ironman, while running a business, while eating fun foods and living my life to the fullest. And these things I want you to have access to as well. So today I'm going to break down this 3-step method, the exact steps that I took initially to go from out of control blood sugars to in control with predictable numbers that allowed me to live my life to the fullest. If you don't know who I am, my name is Matt Van de Vecht. I'm a certified master fitness trainer and nutritionist, and I live with type 1 diabetes, if you couldn't figure it out with my CGM report there I showed you. And today I want to share a training I did for our private group where type 1s come to learn from me about how to manage their blood sugars so well that sometimes you might even forget that you have diabetes. Nothing said today is medical advice, but I will be sharing with you some secrets that I hope you use to their fullest potential to dramatically shift your life in the right direction. So I'm going to start with a theme song, jump into our live training, and get you guys some resources that I truly think are going to dramatically shift the trajectory of your life and improve the quality of your life overall. Hope you enjoy. All right, friends. Today we got a fun topic for you. We're talking about what no one wants to hear, and that probably includes you. And so today I'm going to do a very unpopular live training on how to improve diabetes management, and actually what I'm using it for, which is the Ironman management for my blood sugars, because blood sugars are super hard to manage when you're training for an Ironman. Who knew, right? This is something that I've been working on for, years at this point. And blood sugars themselves, I came up with blood sugar formulas, and in normal life, those work incredibly well, right? Like I've maintained above a 90% time in range for over 5 years now. Amazing, right? But Ironman, that level of athleticism required for it. And if you don't know what it is, it's 140.6 miles. That's the race. Most people take anywhere between 12 and 18 hours to complete it. It's a 2.4 mile swim. Then you go straight into a 112-mile bike ride. Then you go straight into a full marathon, just 26.2 miles running. So a swim, bike, run. It's absolutely insane. But training for that, blood sugars have been wild. And I've used the formulas that I teach, and they've gotten me far, really far. Things are going honestly better than I expected, but they're not as dialed in as I would like. And so I've been fighting what I know to be the next step. I know what is required of me to get blood sugars to cooperate for an Ironman, and yet I refuse to do what's necessary. And for a lot of people, I've noticed that they also refuse to do what's necessary with their blood sugars for day-to-day stuff. Like, I spike after meals, and it's like, you know what to do, or if you don't know what to do, DM me. I'll give you the answers. Like, there's some pretty simple stuff that you can do. But what I think is critical, and what I will be starting actually today on my run, I had this epiphany that I should just do what I know I'm supposed to do. Very clever, right? And that is to document what worked, what didn't, and what I learned. Now, you guys know me. I'm in the final editing stages of finishing my new book, which I am thrilled about. Cannot wait to get that to you guys. But before I wrote this book, I actually put together a journal that is kind of like a mini book. It's got 5 chapters on diabetes management, but then it's a 90-day journal for you to document your blood sugars, all the different patterns and impacts of different things like activity, different types of workouts, different types of foods, your insulin dosing, time of day, all this stuff. Because initially, that's what it took for me to get my blood sugars to be more controlled, was I had to document everything. And here I am trying to figure out blood sugars for an Ironman, and I'm like, man, I wish I knew how to figure this out. It's like, I know how to just document. And there's so much resistance to documentation. The book that I put together, and you can't even see it. Well, on Instagram, you guys can't see it. Sorry. But if you're on Facebook, you can see it right down there. There you go. The Trending Health Journal, right? That's how I figured out blood sugars initially. Was I just wrote literally everything down. Literally. And you're like, can't be literally. I'm like, I would write down my emotions, how many hours I slept, what the type of exercise was, the duration of the exercise, RPE, rating of perceived exertion, how hard was that exercise, types of meals, not only carb counts, but when my endo told me I was insane to question proteins and fats, I still wrote down proteins and fats, right? I wanted to figure out what the heck was going on with my blood sugars. So I got very curious about my blood sugars. And you know what? I have a hat for this too. Hold on. And I started to think differently, right? As a renegade warrior. I'm just going to keep switching hats out this whole life. But that's what's required of us. If we want to accomplish something that has not been done before, we have to think differently. Or if people are just telling us it's not possible, right? So my endo is like, you don't have to worry about fats and proteins. Those are freebies. Well, turns out you were wrong, my endo. My previous endo. I have a good one now. But in documenting everything, writing it all down, and at that point it was on napkins and backs of receipts and in my phone notes app, right? But writing things down helped things to jump off the screen at me, and I'm like, oh, that's the thing. That's the common denominator for the last 2 weeks as to why I've been seeing spikes in the morning, right? Or drops with this time in the afternoon and all that jazz. So documentation is key. Right. And eventually I organized it all, made it look pretty. We hired a designer and an editor and actually published the Trending Health Journal, which if you don't have it yet, it really is helpful to see everything laid out in front of you. Highly recommend you get it. In fact, people who have not worked with me before and they're like, I want to work with you. I'm like, you should start just writing things down as practice. Like we should start there and we can build on top of it. And a lot of people after going through the Trending Health Journal are like, that was awesome. Never mind. I don't need as much help as I thought I did. Right. And I'm like, cool. That's my goal for all of you is like just to see you be successful with blood sugars. I don't need you to sign up for my program. It's too full anyways, most of the time. So it's okay if just the journal is all you needed. I'm excited when I hear that. And if you don't have it yet, you can go to trendinghealthjournal.com, trendinghealthjournal.com. Just type it out, go there, grab your copy. We cover shipping. It's a great deal. But that aside, you have to also be willing to document your blood sugars, right? And I've been unwilling to document my details for Ironman. And so about 2 weeks ago, I started entering all the details into my coach's app because I have a coach, right? Just like I coach type 1 diabetics to build out their blood sugar formulas, get more predictable, stable blood sugars with meals and activity and day-to-day stuff. And we get them to their 90% or 100% time in range, right? It's pretty incredible stuff. Just like that, and I coach other people, I also have a coach to help me do stuff that I don't know how to do yet, right? And also to keep me accountable. So my coach for Ironman, he's got me tracking my calories, my carbs, my bottles of water per hour, the heart rate, check RPE, rating of perceived exertion, distance covered, duration, all these different things we're tracking to see how my body is handling this exercise, but also to practice race day strategies, right? I've only got a couple months left until I'm going into this Ironman race. And it's a big deal. Not gonna lie, I am nervous. I've got anxious thoughts surrounding me, probably daily. There's a lot that goes into it. And I've never done one before. I've only done the half, right? So I have to go do double, which I hear is 4 times as hard, not just twice. But with my coach, I recently started adding notes in addition to all the stuff he was already asking for. I also started adding in carbs, fats, proteins, blood sugar response, spikes, drops, insulin adjustments for myself, mostly because he doesn't have diabetes and he's not a diabetic coach, right? But my specialty is blood sugar analytics. So I'm pairing that with his specialty, which is analyzing my vitals, my body response to exercise, and my training plan. So it's my job to figure out my blood sugars, and the best way to analyze blood sugars is to actually make a note of them in the first place so that there is something to analyze, right? And of course, it's my specialty and my passion to analyze blood sugars. Like, I love it. It's actually fun for me, which probably means there's something wrong with me. I don't know. But thankfully, it's something that actually helps me and it helps other people. So I'm grateful for this passion of mine. But blood sugar analytics, I start with looking at which insulin adjustments worked, which ones did not, what was the total impact, what were the timelines of those impacts. Because every decision that we make with blood sugars isn't just a decision for right now, right? If I give a correction of insulin right now, it continues to impact blood sugars, not just for the next 15 minutes, but for the next multiple hours. So if anything happens over the next few hours, I have to also consider the dose of insulin I gave 3 hours ago, right? So there's multiple levels or layers to this thing, this diabetes management. So what I'm looking at with my Ironman training, I actually have to figure out now, and this is where this is where it started to fall apart for me. I have to figure out how to take more insulin while exercising, which for most people is a nightmare of a situation, and it is for me as well. If I have 0.001 units of insulin on board, like just a fraction of a unit, I plummet. Like, game over. So when paired with exercise, I should add. So insulin plus exercise for me, my blood sugars will tank. And I've had a couple urgent lows in the middle of training trying to figure out how to do this. Because my coach is like, you got to eat more food while you're biking, while you're running, so that you can replenish your glycogen stores during the day. Because you're essentially skipping breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So you have to have that during the race, right? Like while swimming, biking, running, you have to be consuming calories the whole time. So he's like, hey, if you got to give insulin, you got to give insulin. You got to figure it out. Otherwise, you're going to starve your body. They call it bonking, when you just like hit a wall and your body can't go any further. It's like, you're going to bonk. You're not even going to get to finish the race if you don't figure this out. I'm like, whew, how depressing would that be to go through all this training, to tell all you guys my journey, yeah, I'm going to be an Ironman, and then to not even finish the race because I didn't eat enough food. Ugh. So for me, I have to figure out how to maybe increase my basal rate during the race or take correction doses, or what's my insulin to carb ratio. And now what I'm discovering, because I've been writing these things down, is that there are percentage changes, there are adjustments to my insulin sensitivity both during and after these longer bouts of exercise. So if we'll take today as an example. Today, I went out and ran 5 miles during lunch. That's what my coach now refers to as an easy run. He's like, oh, just go have an easy run. I'm like, that used to be hard for me. It's wild how much our bodies can change. But during this easy run, had to consume it was 52 carbs for the run itself. And then afterwards, right, and if I had not consumed those carbs, I would have had an urgent low. I probably would have passed out, right? But I know that's from the 80-20 blood sugar formula. I can calculate 52 carbs for me, not for you guys, for me, because we're all different, right? But I can calculate what is the predicted need. So the 80-20 blood sugar formula is a predictive blood glucose formula or blood sugar formula, right? So as such, I knew exactly what to do, stayed in range the entire run. It was beautiful. Blood sugars hovered exactly where I wanted them to. Never went high, never went low. After the run, because I had consumed those calories, I was in a better spot, wasn't as sensitive to insulin going in. I had to make a slight adjustment to my lunch. So I did not take my full insulin to carb ratio for lunch. I had a large lunch. So I adjusted it and I actually used a split dose. We talked about that in a recent Warriors Tribe Plus training. If you guys were there last week, we did a training on how to adjust your dosages based on different macronutrient percentages, carbs, fats, proteins. How do we switch things up so we can always maintain stable blood sugars, not deal with delayed highs or initial lows or all these different things when having fun foods like pizza, burgers. And for this training, I actually went out and had pizza and a burger and salmon and a salad and an appetizer. Monster meal. And I was like, here's how it works. Right? We went through the whole thing. Anyways, long story short, I have to adjust my insulin based on the variables that I introduce. I went for a run. I have to make adjustments during the run and after the run. Well, now I need to make notes. What worked? What didn't? Why did it work? Why did it not work? And how can I adjust my strategies for next time? The same thing is true for you. Whatever you're struggling with, your meal time, your exercise, your overnights, your stressful work meetings, whatever it is, start by taking good notes. All right. In the Trending Health Journal, it's there to help you if you don't want to write on the back of napkins and receipts like I used to do when I was first starting out. That was a lot of extra work because then it's not organized, it's chaotic, there are no patterns, there's nobody telling you what to write down, right? The Trending Health Journal actually tells you, write these things down, here's what you should be tracking. Highly recommend that as a guiding tool, okay? But for me, what I am committing to do, and what I've already started doing, I started adding notes to my coach's communication with me. So he sees this where I'm like, note to self, this insulin adjustment, this many carbs, this is what blood sugars did. But what I'm committing to myself to start doing today, I got to find out what it is, but it's basically like one of these, right? A little journal, similar to the Trending Health Journal. I'm going to start writing down what my adjustments are, what worked, what didn't, why did it work, why did it not work, and that's going to start helping me to map things out, to get more clarity on what my strategy needs to look like on race day. And you get enough data, you can take the averages. The averages are your patterns, and it can help us to make more informed decisions moving forward. It's not perfect. It's not going to get you your blood sugar formula in a day, but it's going to give you the best possible start to creating and understanding more certainty in your blood sugars. And for me, more certainty in my race day, which admittedly is where I'm having all these anxious thoughts. Like, well, what if I don't finish the race? What if I need to call a medic and they pull me out and you get a DNF, which is also called a did not finish, which is like the most depressing 3 letters I've ever heard of in my life. So for me, it's going to help me cross that finish line. For you, it might just help you to have your first 90% or 100% time in range day. Maybe it just gives you some mental peace to finally get through a day and not have to think about diabetes 24/7, right? But whatever it is for you, it starts with documentation. And if you can get that piece down, then you're able to analyze what you wrote down. In other words, you write stuff down and you look at it, okay? I'm making it sound fancy. Document, analyze. Just write it down and look at your blood sugars, right? Look for patterns. I'm high every morning. Interesting. What can I connect that to? Oh, it's after breakfast. Got it. So I spike after breakfast. What can I change? Maybe it's the pre-bolus. Maybe my insulin to carb ratio is off. Maybe it's the dang foods that I'm eating. So I'm trying to eat Fruity Pebbles for breakfast and wondering, why is it so hard? But you're not going to know until you write these things down and look at it. So document, analyze, and adjust. Those are your 3 phases. That's it. Now, I'm getting a little loud. I'm passionate about this because this is as simple as it gets, right? We're just being more aware of what's going on with the blood sugars. Obviously, I help my clients to interpret and analyze what their numbers mean. So if you have a coach, it's a lot easier because you can say, hey, why is it spiking? I can say, here's the top 3 reasons why we see spikes at that time of day. Which one is it, right? And we can kind of peel back the layers for it. But step 1 for you, just write it down. I know it doesn't sound fun. It's not. I've been avoiding it too for my Ironman stuff for months. I'm just like, I'll remember it. No, I won't. Neither will you. Write it down. And it literally could be on the back of a napkin. Okay? You don't have to buy the Trending Health Journal, though it will guide you to success a lot faster and with a lot less stress. But you could literally write it on the back of your hand each day, and then you wash it while you're washing hopefully you're washing your hands, right? So I guess at the very least, a piece of paper that you're not going to throw away. But write it down, analyze it or look at it, and then adjust. Make changes based on the averages and the patterns that you see. Does that make sense? It's simple, but most people won't do it. Now, what I see as a helpful identity shift for me is that I tell myself I think differently, and I must think differently if I expect different results. Most people do not expect great things out of diabetics like us. And that's a big reason why I'm doing these Ironman races, right? Because I'm like, I'm holding myself to a higher standard. I will not settle for good enough, for just surviving with diabetes. I expect that I will thrive with type 1 diabetes. And I expect that of you too. if you're here in this ecosystem, you've probably heard my stuff before, which means you have more tools than the average diabetic, which means you should raise your standards higher than what the medical system expects of the average diabetic. Because if we have the means necessary to accomplish great things, you now have no excuse to remain mediocre and complacent. Now, to end this video up, because I'm getting a little bit fired up, I want to make sure that we end on a positive note, because I believe in you. I believe in your efforts. I believe in your capability to pursue greatness with your life. And that starts with pursuing greatness with your blood sugars. If your blood sugars are chaotic and erratic and all over the map, it's going to pull you out of the moment with your family and friends, with your own pursuits of greatness, with your career, with any number of things, with your peace of mind. So blood sugars need to come first. When you prioritize blood sugars, they become more stable. You are more aware of what's going on and how you could potentially fix them. If you need help with that, reach out. I'm happy to help if I can. And what your step number one needs to be, remember, document, analyze, adjust, or write it down, look at it, make changes. Step number one, though, when you're writing it down, just grab the Trending Health Journal. Promise it'll help you to lay out everything in an organized fashion. And that is what's going to give you clarity on your patterns or trends, right? That's why it's called trending. It's the Trending Health Journal because it helps you find the trends in your blood sugars. And that's going to give you some answers and some clear next steps to making improvements every single day. All right. So before we wrap up, trendinghealthjournal.com. Pretty sure it's spelled just like it sounds if I said it correctly, because it's pretty straightforward with those words, trendinghealthjournal.com. But go grab that. There's a bunch of bonuses to give you. Like I said, we cover the shipping and everything. So I want you guys to have that tool to see more success in your diabetes management so that it does not hold you back and so that you can finally achieve what you're meant to, which is greatness. So thanks for hanging out, listening to my rant about this. I am committing to myself to start documenting again. Admittedly, it's been a little while because nobody likes to document. I get that, but that's kind of the point, is that oftentimes the things we need to do are hiding right in front of our faces. We're just unwilling to do the stuff we know we need to do to achieve the things we want. So I'm committing to myself to start doing the things I don't want to do to get the stuff I want as an outcome. I hope that you'll do the same. So hope this was helpful for you guys. Thanks for hanging out. Go grab the journal, and we'll all write stuff down together and improve as a result. Thanks for hanging out. You guys are my renegade warriors. I appreciate you. Keep up the fight. See you guys.